All right, guys, another episode of the Gospel Fire, and I am here with one of the best American Jiu-Jitsu fighters, probably of all time, probably up there, Michael Liera Jr. What's up, man? How are you?
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm good. I'm well.
Yeah, we're all cooped up in coronavirus right now.
Yeah, I'm feeling okay.
At
My,
the end.
my lungs are all right so far.
So far, so good, right? Man, what's this been like for you? Because you are just a recent business owner, right? Like you just opened your school,
Yeah.
and how is that? How has that been for you? Like, because this is not I know how it's been for me. As a longtime school owner, it's not what you planned. How's it been for a new school owner?
It's been crazy. Like just literally 1 week before the whole lockdown started to, come about, and we started realizing how serious this was. Like we had the fight to win here in Denver.
Right.
And we were like all just having a good time. We were on top of the world, doing our thing. And then after that was done, I had planned on really focusing on the business and the academy and getting things going with that. And then 1 week later, it's like, no, we're shutting it all down. Hopefully we were hoping it would kind of like brush over, but the more the news, started to release that, this is spreading, it's out, it's come here, it's deadly. Then we started really having to rethink, like, okay, the next few months aren't going to be, focused on growing. They're going to be focused on staying alive.
Yeah.
So in the long run, I think it'll be good for all of us, but it's just the intermediary like steps of how we're going to, survive through this that are going to be tough.
For sure, man. For me, it wasn't even week to week. Last Wednesday, I was chill. I was like, all right, whatever. Right.
Yeah.
And then literally Thursday came and it was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It was like, whoa, wait a minute here. We're going to have to close it all down. Fuck you.
I mean, even to this day, we don't really know how long it's going to be. We are starting to get a better idea, but not really. I mean, we're just hoping that, it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell what we're hoping for at this point. It's either like people accept that it's gonna make its way, and then we start living life normally again, or we're really gonna try to buckle down these next few months and nip it in the bud. We'll see.
Yeah, it's like the UK, right? The UK just kind of said fuck it a little bit, right? And they're just like, live your life. Like,
really?
Like, yeah, they
Wow.
They went the save the economy route. Like, we're not going to crush the economy.
Yeah.
But like, go ahead.
I don't know what's the right decision at this point. It's, it sucks what we're doing here. Just like closing everything down. Everyone's losing their jobs. Everyone's kind of freaking out. But then at the same time, do we just let it run its course? That doesn't sound too good of an idea either.
Well, I don't know if we know enough about it to let it run its course.
Yeah.
Like my wife's a nurse practitioner. She's like, man, sometimes the symptoms for people have been changing. So like we just don't know enough about the virus itself yet. It's so new, I guess. That's what scares me about just like letting it run its course. So like, what if it really is really deadly or something?
Yeah. I've been brushing up on my facts. I've been watching like Contagion with Matt Damon. 28 weeks later, Outbreak.
I'm debating whether I want to show my kids these movies, right? And my 10-year-old sit them down and be like, all right, are you guys ready for this? Boom, sit down.
Got prepared.
All right. So anyway, let's move off the coronavirus and move a little more into you, man. How old are you, first of all?
I'm 26.
You're 26, so you're still very young. What has your jiu-jitsu journey look like? Where did it start? And like, what was the catalyst for you here in this whole thing?
I started when I was 12 years old with my dad, actually. We both started on the same day. Just one of his friends kind of got him into it, and he brought us both into the gym, and then we started. And then as soon as we started, like my dad was always kind of like the hobby type person. He like raced Porsches for a little bit. We had dirt bikes. Like he was always looking for something to do and for something to like, he was always good at stuff like that. And then when we got into jiu-jitsu, like it was perfect for us because we could practice it every day. And, you know, like we both kind of had the minds for it too. Like especially at the time, this was in like 2006 where, you know, good jiu-jitsu was a little bit harder to come by, like, or at least it was just more rare, you know, and we started.
Hold on one sec.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay. You're outside, right? Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. Sorry about that. My kid just stormed in the room. Okay, so go ahead.
Yeah. So we just kind of picked it up, and then like ever since then, like I started competing maybe I think a month or two in.
A month, okay. And where did you live at this point?
San Diego.
Okay, so you're from San Diego.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then once the competitions like started like compounding and you know, I started training competition for competition, and I was like a white belt, 12, 13 years old at the time. My dad was like pushing me all the time to like, you know, oh, you should try this next time or that next time. Then it just like, you know, it became an obsession. And then I was at the gym all day long, and all my friends were at the gym, and I would try to go back to school, and I couldn't really like vibe with my friends from school just because like I was with older people all day long. So like, you know, it's hard to like go back and forth. So eventually I just put all my eggs in the jiu-jitsu basket. I ended up dropping out of high school and then and pursuing jiu-jitsu fully. And
that was that's a huge risk, right?
Yeah.
That's a huge risk.
Yeah.
What did your parents think of that? Okay, you and your dad are in love with it, but what about your mom?
Well, at the time it was kind of disguised with like I was looking at other high school programs where I could train more.
Okay. And this was between you and your dad, and like your mom was over here, or like was it just you here wanted to drop out?
I don't know if you remember one guy that I looked up to a lot was Zach Maxwell, kind of growing up.
Steve Maxwell.
Yeah. So like he dropped out of high school to do jiu-jitsu, but he got his program. I mean, he went on to like an online program and then got his diploma that way. So I started looking at different routes that would like, you know, allow me to train more and then get my degree or my diploma, high school diploma on the side. But then like, so I signed up for a program like that, and then it just slowly kind of faded out because it was taking up more time than actual school was. And at the time I had won worlds. So like I had won worlds the first year that I dropped out. So like, I was just like, well,
at what belt?
Blue belt.
Blue belt. Okay. And how old were you when you won worlds at blue belt?
17.
17. Okay.
Yeah. It was like the first year of adult. I got second at juvenile 2 years in a row, and then the first year of adult I won.
Okay.
Yeah.
So so you just left school. School was just out the door.
Yeah, I started well, my mom told me that I needed to get my diploma. She was like, at least get your diploma. And I was like, for sure. And then eventually she kind of came around and she was like, at least get your GED. And then I was like, all right, I'll get my GED for sure. And then I went and bought like some study guides for the GED and went online and took like a practice course or a practice test, and I aced it. And I was like, oh, like at this point, I know I can pass it, and I didn't feel like I had to. I'll still come around to it, but technically, yeah, I'm uneducated.
That's funny. I can remember, man, when I was in college, because I was older when I started jiu-jitsu. The first year that I won the PANS, I got a 2.2. Well, no, 1.7 for my GPA that semester. But I just said, fuck it. Like, I'm going to win PANS, you know? Like, and my mom sees my grades, my GPA for the semester, and she's like screaming at me, right? Like, she's so mad at me. And I was like, Mom, can I ask you a real simple question? And she's like, yeah, sure, go ahead. I was like, how many people do you know that have a 4.0 GPA? Like, how many people have you ever met? And she's like, a lot. Why? I was like, you see this gold medal? Do you know anybody that has one of these other than me? And she was like, that is not the point. And she's like screaming at me. I'm like, I'm the only one you know. You don't know anybody else, Mom. So I feel you. I feel you, man.
Situation. Yeah. Yeah, but as soon as I started to kind of come around to like balancing my life out, I started putting more effort into like educating myself, reading books, listening to podcasts, lectures and stuff. And it's been interesting. Like, I feel like, you know, I don't have any like official proof that I'm educated, but I spend so many hours like researching into the things that I'm interested in, and I get to direct it exactly at what I'm interested in. That you know, it's not all that bad. Like, it's definitely a good way to. It's not something that I would recommend for sure, but it's not the end of the world either.
I think you have to be a special talent. You know, you have to be a special talent. You can't just let, like you obviously seem to be, right? You know how to hyper focus on something, right? Like, and then once you know how to hyper focus on one thing, you can hyper focus on something else that you're interested in. And then you not only have you been able to, for you, right? From my assessment, I guess, not only have you been able to be hyper focused, you've been able to be hyper focused and successful. So you've been able to make that transition, which I don't know if everybody can make, right? Like you're obviously a very special, talented individual that can go, okay, I want to do that. And then watch me be successful. Where, you know, like when you say you don't recommend, I probably agree with you. I don't recommend it either. Most people have to like, you know, be told what to do a little bit more.
For sure.
Where do you think you got that ability?
Honestly, I think I got that ability just from being spoiled a little bit. Like, I've always just wanted to do what I want to do. Like, you know, from a pretty early age, like I was the only child for like 8 or 9 years, and I was raised by my grandma. And I think like I just grew up always kind of spoiled and only doing what I wanted to do, never forced to do like anything else. And like, on one hand, that you know, that's not the best thing for your work ethic or you know, learning different like just normal skills like persisting through and working hard. But at the same time, it made me choose jiu-jitsu. Once I chose jiu-jitsu, I was like, okay, this is all I want to do. This is where I want to put everything. So like, I've just tried to branch out on that as well. Like, anything that I want to do, like, that's fine, but just pursue it with 100%, like, you know, focus and passion really is what it takes. Like, I love jiu-jitsu, you know, like it doesn't seem like work. So even the work that's attached to it is easy to do when it comes to like motivation and waking up to do it, because it's easy for me. It's what I like to do. And I just try to keep everything in that realm of like always doing things that I want to do. Because if you do enough of those things, you'll be successful, I feel like. Yeah,
I mean, this is like the first thing I've ever done in my life that I didn't want to do, like this last week. You're right. Like for the most part, like I feel you, you know, in the find what you love and then just fucking chase it, you know, just chase it to no end. A little bit. So who was your original professor? Was it always Galvao, or like, where did you start?
So I started with a guy, his name's Odi Neto. He was around back in the day, back in like 2006. He had a gym in San Diego, and I think he had a gym in San Diego starting somewhere around 2003 or 4. And then he eventually kind of fell out of practicing jiu-jitsu. And a few months in, I left that place and went to another spot ran by Joao Cunha.
Joao used to be out here.
Yeah,
he started with us. What's her name? Katie was his girl, right? Or Kelly?
Yeah,
Kelly. Man.
Kelly, yeah.
No way, really?
I forgot about that. Yeah, I completely forgot he was out here.
Dude, he was intense, man. Fuck yeah. He was super intense.
Like down his
face, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, he met those girls like they were twin girls. They lived up in you ever hear of Greeley? Have you heard of Greeley? Okay, man. Have you ever been to Greeley?
No.
Dude, Greeley stinks, bro, because it's got all these like cow farms and oh my God, it smells so fucking bad. and these two twin girls randomly met. They like all met at our school, and then like he fell in love, moved to California. Like, yeah. I didn't know that's where you started or came from.
Yellow belt and orange belt from him.
All right.
Yeah,
he was intense.
He was intense. Really, really small academy in Ocean Beach, San Diego.
I remember. I probably met you when you were a kid. If you were traveling with him to all the tournaments, I probably met you then, because I can remember like as an older, like as you know, as traveling to tournaments, seeing wow, yo, what's up, man? And I remember you always had these kids around him sometimes competing. I'm sure we met like like a decade ago. That's crazy.
Yeah, those were some crazy times. Like he had this small gym. I think it was no more than like 600 or 700 square feet, and it was just like the mat. I mean, 600-700 square feet included the mat, the seating area, his office, and the changing room.
Right.
And like we switched over just because he was training 7 days a week at the gym all day long. So like my dad like saw that schedule and then just kind of threw me in over there.
Because Galvao wasn't here yet, was he?
No, he didn't come until 2010 or 11.
Okay.
2010 he came. So I was there in 2007, and then 2008 I went to Saulo Ribeiro's school.
Okay.
University of Jiu Jitsu, and I was there for like 2.5 years. 2008. So like 4 years. Okay. And then halfway through my time there is when I dropped out of high school and started working for Saulo full time.
I didn't.
My dad.
Okay.
I worked as the front desk, and I worked as like I cleaned the mats, taught kids, did that whole, taught the morning classes.
Got you. So you were 17 at that point.
Yeah.
Okay. And you were with Saulo at university because the university's still in San Diego, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you chose at some point to leave Saulo's and go to Galvao?
Yeah, I stayed with Saulo.
Something just happened to your volume. You went down a little bit. I don't know what happened.
Can you still hear me?
Yeah, that's a little better. Go ahead. Sorry.
Cool. I got my blue belt and purple belt from Saulo, and I won Worlds as a blue belt there. And then I was really just looking for like a professional training room. I really wanted to keep competing, and Saulo had great like dreams and aspirations for my future too. But like just the way it kind of lined up, it seemed like the better choice was to kind of see what was happening with Andre and everything that was going on at Atos. And that's when I really started picking up like training full time, and like I started treating it more like a professional like career, and it was good. It's good that I got like so many different looks as professors, because it helps me like to this day. I feel some of the lessons Saulo gave to me back in the day, they're coming around now. So I definitely appreciate like all the opportunity that I had. I mean, to be able to train with Joao alone, who's a super intense guy, and then Saulo, who's one of the greatest of all time, and then Andre, who's one of the greatest of all time, that's still kind of doing it, just stopped. Like it's been really like fortunate. Like I couldn't imagine a better lineup of opportunities.
Yeah, for sure. Do you still have a good relationship with Saulo?
Yeah, we still talk. Every time I run into him, he like lays some advice down on me or whatever it is. You know how he is.
Yeah.
Nice guy as well. Like, and I haven't gotten to like really share the mats or train with him yet, really. But yeah, we still talk.
Cool, nice. That I think I like to see that, right? Like, people have to sometimes do their own thing, and it gets just so shunned upon in the jiu-jitsu community.
Yeah,
where I don't know. I understand it from one end, like, loyalty to your instructor and yada, yada. But like, at the same time, like, if I feel like we don't have to hate each other at the end of this.
Yeah.
Like, but I guess we do it in all sports. Like Cleveland hated LeBron for a little bit until he came back and now he's beloved.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, if you look at it, if you take a step back and look at it, like it's such a natural like process for people to just like, grow and then like just kind of move different paths or whatever it is. Like you got to just accept it as all love, I guess.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, right? Especially from the athlete. Like I just experienced it as a coach. Like I'm not personally coaching Neil Magny anymore, right? He's still on the team. Yeah. But I coached him for almost, 20 fights. And then, he chose to move a slightly different way. And that's just the natural progression of things sometimes. Like the relationship, the whatever it is that gets in the way sometimes. And like, man, I still want him to do so well. I still see him every day. And like he's still in the school. So I think we have to have a little more space for each other in that sense. So you went to Salo, you went to Galvao's. What belt were you when you went to Galvao's?
I just got my purple belt.
So you just got your purple belt.
Yeah.
And you had not won worlds yet at purple, or you had?
I had just won at blue.
Okay, so you just won at blue, and then you went to Galvao. What is Atos like? Like, what is, because right, it wins every tournament, right? Like every major tournament in the adult division, Atos wins.
Yeah.
So what is that like?
It's different than your normal academy because it's like not as much. When you see the guys there, the ones that are killing it, like it's not as much like homegrown like talent as it is just like the lineup of superstars coming together and making, and making it happen. Like everyone there is from, they were already superstars at another academy. And then we come through and like, just put all of our effort towards like making each other better, training hard, killing.
So you guys take a lot of shit for that too.
Yeah.
Right. You take a lot of shit for that. Like,
any of the major teams are that way though, like especially when it comes to like the big sized, like gi, empires of jiu-jitsu teams like Alliance, Baja. They all have, guys from different places coming together.
For sure. I mean, I agree with you, but I think most of the shit though is what you just said. Like Atos takes a lot of it. You pay everybody and, you steal them and, and things like that. So, but, what I guess my bigger overall question is, what is the training room like? Like what, like is it, cause it doesn't like, I mean, how do I say this? Like, it's very hard for jiu-jitsu school to, produce champions like this. Right. And like kind of make it. Like if I tried to go competition, or like, you have a school now, if you tried to go competition only, good luck.
That's a small demographic you're pulling from for sure.
Right.
Well, I got to see it grow. Like when I first came, it was a really small gym and it was just straight competitors and people that were down to get in the mix with the competitors. Like I think when I got there in 2011, I can't imagine that we had more than 40 or 50 students, and or Atos had 40 or 50.
Right.
And then over the years, like I slowly started to see like, okay, the competitors started helping, teach the normal, normal jiu-jitsu practitioner classes. Like I was teaching in the mornings, and then, we obviously had to separate our competition time once we had enough competitors to where we didn't need to keep beating up on the guys coming in.
You can't.
Yeah, you can't. And then slowly it just started to transform into the machine that it is today. Like you go in there now and literally like you see maybe 300-400 people walk in and out of the door a day, at least. Like before I left to come out here, I was teaching one of the biggest morning classes and occasionally teaching the one night class that we have there. And there would be at least 100 people at night.
In your class?
Yeah. And then in the morning, there was probably on average at 9 a.m., maybe 60, anywhere from 50 to 60, 70 people. And it's wild. You see all of them. You see on one end of the line, like black belt world champions, on the other end of the line, someone who first started, and everything in between. Like
Right. No, that's really cool. What are the competition trainings like? Like how intense are those competition trainings?
They get super intense. Like it's definitely there were times where I started to question, like, I don't even know if this is the best thing physically for us, but like mentally we're going to have that attrition because we push super hard. And what's crazy is like we would only train like 4 days a week almost. Like it would be Monday, Tuesday, and then rest Wednesday because of how hard Monday and Tuesday were. And then Thursday, Friday. And then you're just so fried. Like there's open mat where people drill maybe on Saturdays and that's it. So like we were getting like 4 days a week, super hard in. That's like kind of where our training was at.
How many times a day?
Two. You do like for the most part, there's competition class Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. And then there's normal classes like before the competition class. So 9 a.m. class is like just a normal jiu-jitsu class, let's say. And then 11 would be comp class. And then at night there's the 6 o'clock class. So usually what people would do is do the comp class and then also supplement some extra training by just chilling and kind of flowing in the night class or the morning class. So yeah, it's definitely intense though. There's a lot of pressure. Like, you know, if you don't give your best, you're going to get killed every single day. Like, and I always felt like my weight, because I'm like 175 right in the middle, like they would throw me in with the lighter guys sometimes, but for the most part, I trained with everybody. Like I was just big enough to be, you know, a training partner for everyone. So like I was getting in with like all the guys. It was good. It's times that I miss for sure.
Yeah, for sure. What was the? What's going on? Do you hear that feedback or no?
I don't think so. I don't hear it.
It's just me. What was the? What was it like that competing at the black belt, the highest level, right? Because you got very, very close, right? Because you won worlds at blue, purple, and brown. Yes. Yeah. And then what was that jump to black belt like, and what is your journey as a black belt competitor been like?
I think so I did obviously really well at the color belts, and then at black belt I got to the quarterfinals 3 times of worlds. So I was like 1 fight away from placing, 2 fights away from finals, and 3 away from winning. And then I won some like major tournaments. I won Europeans, I won Pans, but I really like think that like it's been an interesting journey. Like at the color belt, well, jiu-jitsu is super humbling. We always say it, and we always kind of like attest to how no matter what, you're going to get your ass beat in jiu-jitsu eventually. And especially if you're competing, you know, you're bound to run into someone if you do it enough. And like at the color belts, I just feel like I never experienced that. Like the color belts, I was just running through it all. And then when I got my black belt, like, I don't know, I feel like I had a better chance than I thought I did. Like going into it, if I could like leave any type of like, you know, words of wisdom from my own personal journey, like you have to dream extremely big. Like you have to, otherwise you'll catch up to your dreams. Like for me, when I was growing up, when I was a yellow belt and orange belt, I would watch these big tournaments and I'd look at the or at the like purple and brown belts, like Ari Farias at the time when he was a purple belt, and the Mendez bros when they were brown belts. And I remember thinking, like, if I could just get on that level, like where I'm messing with like purple belts and brown belts competitively at worlds, that would be insane. Because at the time I was like, you know, out of shape, 13, 14-year-old yellow belt, like at, you know, in San Diego with none of the training and none of the like hype that these guys had. And then when I got there, like, I couldn't believe it. I felt like I was living out my dreams. But now I start to think like the dream should have been so much bigger. The dream should be way bigger, because there's no way you should ever catch up to your dreams. Like the worst feeling is knowing that you didn't dream big enough and you had more potential in you. So like the first few years at black belt, I kind of like, I didn't sit back, but like mentally, like I trained super hard, but mentally I wasn't ready to win. And during those first
you were ready to be there.
Yeah, yeah. And during those first years at black belt in the training room, I was a killer. Like I was on top of I was on top of the room for sure. Like I couldn't believe how well I was doing, because like if I was doing that well in the room, I should be out there winning. And like eventually it kind of came around to me. I was like, wow, like, like I'm going to have to sit with this. And that means now moving forward, like I need to make sure my dreams are big enough. And I started opening up like the realm of possibility. I'm like, okay, I want to achieve all of this. And now it's way more motivating. And it was a hard lesson to learn. Like, I don't feel like I wasted time, but I definitely feel like I could have done more, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, like having to.
Oh, I feel you. Trust me, I feel you.
Yeah, yeah. Having to deal with those types of lessons are tough and bitter, but they leave a bitter taste in your mouth. But at the same time, like those are the things that kind of keep you going. So
I didn't learn this lesson until it was a little too late.
Well,
It was too late for me. When I learned this lesson, I wasn't 26 still. Right. Like I learned it as an older competitor, and I'm like kicking myself.
yeah, you're still
like, yeah, I'm kind of done though, bro. I'm 40. Like,
at Worlds is still killing it.
What'd you say?
Second place at Worlds.
I never placed at Worlds.
No, in Nogi Worlds, didn't you?
No, I never did know. So for I stopped, bro. I competed. I crushed the color belts.
Yeah.
And then when I got my black belt, I decided to move to MMA.
Okay.
Right. And then I went on for my MMA career, and then it was successful, but still I did the same thing that you did. It was like this. I didn't dream big enough.
It's so wild.
Right. I was like, okay, man, it's going to be amazing one day when I walk out for a UFC fight. Right. And like, so like when that occurs, it's like you were saying, you're like, oh my God, that just happened.
Yeah.
But it's like, now what? You did it. Yeah. Right. You did it. It's not that crazy anymore. It's not that amazing. Maybe when I'm 80 and I'm telling the stories, right, and you're telling the stories, then people will be like, oh my God, that's so amazing. But like actually doing it isn't that amazing when you're doing it. Yeah. So like the dream, like you said, the dream wasn't big enough. And then after I finished my MMA career, I, opened the schools and all that. And then I came back and I decided to start competing jiu-jitsu again. I won the fight to win title is what I won. I won the no-gi fight to win title. But yeah, I never got on it was a little past me. But at that time I was 36, so getting on and I didn't compete jiu-jitsu the whole way through. So, but I did learn what you're saying though. Like, I had never beaten any good black belt, my whole life until I was 36 years old. And then I started, then like that dream bigger thing happened. And I was like, oh, wow, look at that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, man, that's such an important lesson that don't dream small.
No, you never want to catch up to your dreams. You always want to be out there. You always want to be on a full pursuit to them.
Are you still on the chase of the world championship?
Yeah. I mean, not this year, but
obviously,
which like I knew I wasn't going to be able to put in a proper camp for this year anyway. But like, once things start to kind of grow and build, and I can have like, like a solid like month or two to like re-hone in on whatever it is, I know I can get it done.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. What made you make this decision to move to Denver and open a school while still on the chase? Why did you kind of switch, I guess, right? Because like you said, the room full of killers, if you want to be a world champion, you got a room full of killers in San Diego. You obviously don't have a room full of killers here, right? Yeah. So what made you make that switch?
I guess going back to that, like, the past maybe since 2011, so like 9 years really, like I've been training at HQ, and been reaping the benefits of training in that room full of killers and putting myself in that pressure cooker every single morning of comp class, like I just started to feel like, okay, like there's definitely, obviously there's a reason why you want to be here, but I started to feel that point of diminishing returns. Like started to feel like, okay, I know how to fight hard. Like I've been fighting hard my entire jiu-jitsu career at this point. Like every day of my life, I've been in a really tough training room and persisted through. Now I need to start looking at it as like going back to what do I want to do, and like there were a few things that like just weren't lining up with like how I wanted my training to be, such as like I like to train a lot. I like to train like all day long. Like for me, I would rather train all day long, keep working on my jiu-jitsu, and then just keep the intensity kind of maybe not like at 100, but like let's go at like 50, but just put in more hours. Like I started to feel like you know and it's just a personal thing. That's just kind of like how it's not even like talking about a world championships or going for what's best for my competition career. It's more of like for mental, health and sanity and clarity. Like for me, I just really appreciate being on the mats all day long. And that's not really how it was back there. It's more of like a professional training room where you come in, do your work and then go. And then also I really like teaching, and I was teaching over there a lot, and like I wanted to start branching out and doing like my own, start putting my own philosophies into my curriculums, and I wanted to start thinking more about it. So like I just really started like investing myself in different just like ways that I wanted to like do and practice jiu-jitsu, and like it just started to feel like the right time to have my own place. And like it was definitely the right decision. I feel like I was definitely nervous about, wow, what if my competition results just kind of like plummet from here? But with the new academy and the new motivation and the new reasons to push myself, like I feel like my mindset as a competitor is stronger than it's been in a long time. So it all worked out. It's something that I wanted to do. Even more so than a competitor, I feel like I identify with just being a jiu-jitsu practitioner. Like I like to just do jiu-jitsu more than anything, more than compete, more than win. Like on a daily basis, I just really appreciate going in and training. So that was the number one priority to me, is get to a place where I'm happy with my jiu-jitsu practice, and like, try to manifest a place that kind of gives me that and also helps others. So I started thinking about like where to go these past few years. And then I started, compiling a list of like places that would, be like a potential spot for me to do that. And like, I just started thinking about where are the coolest cities, to live in, essentially. And after visiting Denver, it was like, this is a really rad city. It's chill, but it's also, it's got a good pace to it. And the people are so nice here. And it all just kind of lined up one day when I visited, and I brought my dad, and we started looking at places. And at first he was telling me to wait, but then once we got out here and I brought him out here, he was like, yeah, I kind of see what you're trying to do. I think it's the right time. And then he kind of pushed me to like expedite the process. Like I was actually going to go after Worlds this year. That was my original plan for the past like 2 or 3 years. And then maybe like a year ago, it was about a year ago, I guess. Yeah. Like it got sped up, and it was just like, let's just do it this year. Forget it. Like, why not? Let's just take the jump and see what happens. So me and YJ came out here, and we just started working. So
YJ is your business partner?
Yeah.
Okay. And you guys have the school together 50-50?
No, the school's mine. is just working here, helping me.
Okay, got it. So the school's 100% yours. So it sounds like your dad has been a really huge influence on your life.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
In what other ways? Like talk to me about that relationship with your dad.
Well, I guess again, going back, like I grew up, just really close with him, and I grew up with my grandma and
his mother or your mom's mom?
Mom's mom.
Okay.
Like anytime we were having time with the boys, it would be me and him, and we'd be talking about racing or whatever growing up, and we were always into like something and idolizing like this race car driver or this supercross dude or whatever it was. So when I started competing, and then he was like into watching me compete, it was like super cool because it was something now that it was like, okay, now I'm a part of it. Now he's like watching me. So I've always had that motivation to kind of make him proud. And then, and he
go ahead. Sorry.
Passionate about jiu-jitsu too. He got his black belt this year from Barrett Yoshida.
Oh, cool. Nice. Did he ever fall into that, like, push you too hard, dad? Like, not really. I mean, I guess the one thing that I can recall of like him pushing me, but it was really mild and minor, is like I remember in high school one day I called him up because he was going to pick me up and then take me to training. And I said, hey, I remember it was a Tuesday, and I was like, hey, I'm not going to go into training tonight. I'm with my friends right now. And I just remember him saying like, what? And I was like, I'm with my friends right now. Like we're chilling. I'm not going to train tonight. I'll go in tomorrow. And he's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, what? And he's like, training's what you do. And then I remember I was like, yeah, okay. And then I hung up, and then I texted him, and I was like, all right, you can pick me up at whatever time. And then after that, I never really said. He was never the come on, like screaming at you, like
definitely not,
like
definitely.
Trying to live through you, right? Because that's what you see a lot, right? Is that dad that is like trying, like that isn't the world champion, right? That was a high school wrestler or basketball player, and here he is just parading his kid, right? Like, so that sounded like he did that really nicely. Like, what do you mean you're not training?
I would say that he definitely lives through me in a lot of different ways, but it's not negative in any fashion. Like, it's always been super positive. And now we joke about it. Like, now if I fight or something, I know he's just going to talk so much shit after. Like, if I don't fight right,
right.
If I hold or for whatever reason, like I didn't go for this or that, like now, like we're adults about it. He's open with me, and he's just like if I call him and I know it's coming, like already, I can take it now, it's fine.
He's kind of living with you, it sounds like, not through you.
That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
He's a manager at the Arena MMA.
Okay.
It's got something like, I don't know how many thousand student or members. So he's doing his own thing now, and he's super stoked, and I'm happy for him. Like, he found his place, and so he has his own thing. It's not like, he's completely living through me, but there's definitely a part of him that would rather be out competing, teaching at an academy in some foreign city, and doing my thing, essentially.
Sure. I get it. What has this journey been like? What, like with moving to Denver, what has it been like in Denver? I know, let me ask this question. Coming into our school, right? And knowing, we all knew you were opening, there was no hidden secrets. And normally that can be a tense situation, and I think it was super important for us, to not have it be tense. So I just, from your perspective, because we are the big school in Colorado, right? We have a bunch of schools, the most students, yada, yada. So what was that like for you? And how did it feel on your end? I know how it felt on my end. So I want to know what it was like from your perception.
Coming in, the reason why, we kind of got connected super quickly was Phil, one of the black belts, came out to San Diego a few times. I'd met him there. And then when I was coming out for the Denver Open, he always like housed me and was super, like he'd take me out and like, you know, he paid for a private once and he would always kind of help me out. So when I told him I was moving in, we stayed at his house for like a week, I think. And he invited us over to train. And instantly when he invited us over, I know like the issues always come when like people aren't like upfront and honest. Like I've definitely made my mistakes before with whatever, like with past instructors or girlfriends or whatever. And I've just come to the conclusion, like, it's better just to get everything on the table. So I think people need to like understand that more and not take the easy routes and really just try to be upfront with people. So I try to reach out, text them all first and make sure that like it would be okay and get his grace and training at the facility. And like, once I came in and you guys kind of allowed us to train, like everyone was so welcoming and like, it was always really positive vibes, you know, like you guys tried to help us out in any way that you could. And then when we were there, we were trying to help out any way we could also, like, you know, we didn't feel like why would we like hold back anything? Like this is all of us, you know, jiu-jitsu is just a huge family essentially. Like, you know, we all have our own thing at the end of the day, but like when it comes down to it, we're all fighting for the same cause, it feels. So like, we just tried to like make sure that we were doing our best to show the love and appreciation that basically we were being showed back. And it was really cool. Like in California, it's definitely different. Like in California, there's definitely more of a us versus them mentality, I feel. And like here it was like really nice. Everyone was super cool. Everyone was chill and we all got good rounds in and it helps everyone in the long run, I think.
I agree with you. I think it started with what you said, honesty.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it's what sucks from my end of it is when you have somebody coming and they're like, oh, I'm in town for a week.
Yeah.
Right. And then, you know, the next thing you know, you're like, oh, you're opening a school in a month. Yeah. Right. You're not in town, motherfucker. Right. You know, like you are here. You know, and then it feels like from my end, like as like the academy owner, I'm saying, right. Like then it feels like, okay, so you were in my school, like being super cool, not being honest. And like, you know, are you poaching my students? Right. Yeah. Are you like, yo, I'm going to have cheaper prices, man. You know, like right down the road, like, you know, like, so you were super clear from the jump street, you know? And it was like, and then we got to be like, yo, where are you opening? Are you going to open next door? No. All right, cool. Right. Like, cause if you're going to open like a mile down the road, it's going to be an issue. Yeah, right. Like, and you weren't doing that. Probably wouldn't have been good for either one of us. Right. But go ahead.
Yeah, we should. I mean, like, obviously it's tricky anytime, you know, you're dealing with situations like this, but at the end of the day, it's really important that like we can make it through. And it's really important that you try, I feel. At the end of the day, as long as you try your hardest, like that's the most either of us can really ask for in any of the situations. It's like,
yeah, you try your hardest and you try your best to get along and do it the right way and be honest with each other.
For sure.
Right. And be honest with each other, you know, and that's just what it comes down to. I believe, I think it's a good lesson for everyone to kind of look at and like honest, real conversation, you know, about what everyone's motives and goals are. And then you move forward from there rather than like, how can I get one up on you or how can you get one up on me?
Yeah. You know, you hurt yourself if you try to like sneak around, I feel.
In the long run, right? Sure. In the long run, you know, it will come out in the end, you know, your true colors always show, in my opinion. And then on the jiu-jitsu school side of it, your students will then see it, you know, and then that will affect your school and like how you deal, like when they watch you deal with other people differently, I think that like that eventually comes out, you know, and it crushes you.
Yeah.
So, what are your plans, man? Like, what is the future for Michael Liera Jr. look like?
Well, right now, everything's kind of put toward, there's no balance in my life. Like right now, put towards like making this academy kind of survive and pushing the good jiu-jitsu, out of myself and out of YJ and out of the students, and really kind of helping out, any way that we can, and just trying to get this going. Like, obviously, well, we had a good start so far, but there's still a lot of room to close before we reach like comfort. And I know like comfort, it's never really going to be with us, but
well, shit, man, I thought I had comfort and I don't fucking have comfort right now, homie.
So like everything right now is put towards like, making this happen. And like, it's rough because, to make sure we could accommodate the people coming in, we have a super crazy schedule where we're on the mats all day long. But that's what it is right now. It's me and him just kind of grinding through and trying to do everything we can.
Yeah.
It's hard to see really like too much further past that. Like we're trying to, like next year, I want to jump into the Euros, Pans, and Worlds. This year, I want to focus more on trying to get title defenses in on that fight to win belt once the fight to win start running again. And the next year, I'm also like YJ, who's been with me for I don't know how long now. Like we started training at Solos in 2007 together.
So you guys are just homies, and he's like just followed you around. Like you guys have just been buddies.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what's crazy. Like me and YJ, we were training partners more so than we were friends. Like,
okay,
I did things on like the pro level with jiu-jitsu, and he did things on like the more like just real consistent practitioner level. Like
okay,
every single morning, and then going and working at Costco, at night. And then, and we just shared time together at the gym, essentially. Like I have my friends who I go out and hang out with outside of the gym. And he was never really one of those guys. Like,
okay,
always one of the guys that I just trained with, talked about jiu-jitsu with, had huge admiration for, but like never like that close friendship bond. And then halfway, maybe 6-7 years ago, we started joking, like, one day I'll open a gym and then you'll teach some of my classes. And then and he took that to heart. I was joking with him, but he took that to heart.
He was like, yes.
Yeah. Committed himself to like training every day and working at Costco to pay off his student loan debt. And then eventually, like it was literally a few months before we, eventually like maybe a year or two ago, I kind of sat him down. I was like, okay, we're kind of serious about this, right? Because I'm making like real plans on this. He's like, yeah, like, and he kind of explained to me his plan of like paying off his student loan debt before he came out. So like I started to realize like, wow, this guy's doing things without me even telling him. Like he's doing things for the better of, this academy that's not even existing.
Doesn't even exist. Yeah.
Yeah. So I knew I could trust him. Like already I knew, but like after we started talking about it more and more, I was like, wow, this is someone that I can really put my trust into when it comes to, a dream academy. And then eventually we packed up the car and then drove together. And now we're obviously closer than I've probably ever been than with anyone. But yeah, so he always kind of was just like the jiu-jitsu practitioner and trained and had fun. But you could see like at Fight to Win, that was his first time kind of coming out and like really celebrating and like tapping into that ego and that competitive side. And like, it was cool to see. So next year, my plan for him is to send him to every open. Like it's his first year at Master 2.
Okay.
So I'm going to try to like send him to every open that I can and finish it with Masters Worlds, because I think for him and his like jiu-jitsu practice, that's what he's kind of missing, is that like competitor, like doing the whole IBJJF tour and like feeling that circuit and like feeling that like, like that grind of competing every weekend and like fighting for something. So like I think it'll be really good for him to have that growth.
I agree, man. There's something to that.
Yeah.
Like when I was coming up, I didn't have the IBJJF like it is now. There was only, in America, there was only pants when I was coming up. So we had to travel all over the country and it wasn't weekly. You could find one once a month, you know, but there was something to that for me. Like there was something to that. I agree with you that I would work at a bar on Thursday night until like 4 a.m. I would drive home, grab my suitcase, go to the airport, you know, Friday weigh in, Saturday fight, come back Sunday, repeat, you know, there's something to that that just builds so much character and it's such an experience.
Yeah, it's an experience. Like you're saying, it's an experience. Like I want him to feel flying into a city with your gi, going to a hotel, you know, thinking about it all day long, like fighting, celebrating or thinking about your loss or whatever it was.
Celebrating or crying, something with a C, one or the other.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like, and just kind of going through that motion, like I think it's special. It's something that you'll never forget.
For sure, man. For sure. I always call it the diet of champions after the fight. You either are the champion and you eat whatever the fuck you want. You're like, yeah, I'm the fucking man. Or you're crying in the same food, right? So you're like, oh, you know, either way, the food doesn't change, but it's the diet of champions. So, yeah. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on, Michael. Tell everyone where they can reach out and find you on social media or your academy and all that stuff.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Man. You can find me on Instagram. Mostly it's just at Liera Jr. The gym is at Logos BJJ Denver, LOGOS BJJ Denver, and yeah, say what's up.
Fuck yeah, man. All right, man. Thanks for coming on. It's appreciate. It's cool to be friends. You know, it's cool to have a relationship and make this whole jiu-jitsu community work. So I appreciate your side of that. You know.
I appreciate you too, bro. Thank you.
No worries, man. I'll see you soon. Be safe.